You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. Now, we have good in abundance. You just get ready to be amazed, uplifted, and transformed and transported, because we have a show today that I guarantee, or your money back, will make a difference in your life. Now, you have tuned in to this show, The Joy of Living, with your humble host, Barry Shore, for one reason and one reason only. And that's the best reason in the whole world, by the way, because you care the most in the entire world about you. And that's great, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. Now, how can I make the categorical statement that all the hundreds of thousands, right now over 348,613 people around the world, you're all good looking? Because by definition, if you tuned into the joy of living, it means you're always looking for and finding the good in life. That's the definition of a good looking person: looking for and finding the good in life. Now, on this show, you know, and that's why you use your most precious asset, your time, to tune in. We discuss the three fundamentals of life. And when you use these three fundamentals of life, you will be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? First fundamental, of course, is life. Your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, you make a number two. Now, it's a good number two. You go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. Lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, this show is carried right now over the internet. Ask anybody, what does www stand for? Invariably say it has to do with the internet. Factually speaking, they're correct. But in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what, of course, is a word, WHETA. And of course, a tip of the hat and a big thank you to Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, for enabling that song, What a Wonderful World, to go viral and not touch just tens of millions or hundreds of millions or billions of people around the planet. And whenever you hear the opening bars of that amazing song, What a Wonderful World, what do you do right away? You can't help it. You smile. Now, SMILE is one of the most important acronyms that you can ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because SMILE stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, recently, I was speaking at an audience. We had 1,172 people in the audience, and I'm telling the story about Barry Shore and people, and I'm talking about seeing miracles in life every day. And people raising their hands and say, "Hey, Barry Shore, I've been out for hours, but I haven't seen any miracles." And I asked them, "Are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water to drink? You have food to eat? You have a place to sleep? You have family? You have friends?" Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simplest proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, to live life exuberantly. So let me tell you a quick story. It's about me. Imagine the following. Standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that evening being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed from the neck down. And it was not from an automobile accident, not a spinal injury. It was a rare disease took over my body and rendered me what's called a quadriplegic. Nothing in my body moved, my neck down. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed in my own home 2 years. I couldn't turn over by myself. 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, from my hips to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand made for me by a Zen master. So I'm a triped, not a biped. I can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. I'm helped 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of one word: smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. But I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. Smile, sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of an 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world that she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Rethinking, which is what you're going to learn about today. It's wonderful. It's what I call a shift in perspective. Now, it's the title of my latest book, Oh Shift. Now, I've been working with people for more than 42 years, and I can tell you 97.2% of all the people I ever worked with in the beginning, they drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. You have to be careful with your Fs. Keep it in place. It's shift your perspective. When you do that just a little bit, you'll be able to use and utilize the 6 most important words you'll ever use in your life. And these are: choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, how you choose to respond in any given situation, will enable you to have the path you want and the trajectory. Now, before we bring on our amazing guest, Todd Double D Saylor, Saylor, and he's a sayer. Before we bring on Todd, I just want to warn everybody new to the show and thank you for inviting your family and your friends. We always have at least 340,000. Now, by the time Todd comes on, we'll have 370,000 people. And I am just so honored and humble you do that. So keep inviting people and share this with 5 people. I said 5 people. Then we'll touch over 1.5 million people around the world. I want to warn everybody, I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it because of the shock value, and it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use are, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant: love, life, hope, free, gift, pray, play, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, yes. F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends, you have a twinkle in your eye, a smile on your face. Remember that stands for. Point your finger, say, F-U, everybody. But remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. So where'd you get that? I said, I listened to Barry Shore and The Joy of Living. He had on this great guy. And Barry wants to teach the world to F-U. It's a great way to get people's attention and to bring out the things that you're going to be discussing today, because they're really wonderful. So before we bring on Todd, I just want to urge everybody to do something that's going to help you be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And this is to utilize the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously, for now and the rest of your life. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank is a great acronym that stands for to harness and nurture kindness. To harness and nurture kindness. Imagine you walk into your cafe, your coffee shop, you order your fancy latte, and you sit down. Somebody brings it to you. Say thank you. You go to the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte, wait a couple of minutes, nobody brings it. Go to the client and say, I'm sorry, we forgot. We'll bring it. Sit down, a couple of minutes go by, somebody brings it. You still say thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop and it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you. Say thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, somebody slams the door on you. You say thank you. You're late for an appointment, you're stuck in traffic, somebody cuts you off. You say thank you. Get up in the middle of the night and you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, yes, thank you. To harmonize and nurture kindness. I can't think of anybody that I want to share with you that inspires kindness more than my dear friend Todd Saylor. Todd, kind stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. Let's have a big hello.
Oh, man.
1,000 people around the world.
They shook up the world, right? We did it, man. I'm like, I'm surprised I was ready because I was like writing thanks and joy and F you. And I'm like,
Okay, so Todd, when was the last time somebody said F you to you and you laughed?
Today, you.
Right. F you, capital N, capital N. Okay.
Bring it home, man. Like with the power of fun, right?
Power. Well, POW stands for power of words, because that's who you are. You're a Saylor, S-A-Y. So if I started reading all the things about Todd and what he does, how he does it, and the 14 companies and the books that he's written and the movie and so it would take the rest of the show. So I'm just going to start with, let's go to a question, and we're playing together, musicians. This is a jazz session, baby. So let's just jump right in and let's talk about your unique aspect of life, which is you. You are wired differently, Todd.
Yes.
What the heck does wired differently mean, and why should we listen?
Well, listen, wired differently is this thing that happened to me when I think I was born, and I just want you to understand that I had this amazing father, and this father, I still have him. He's 82 now, and he's going through a change in life, and his cognitive skills aren't quite what they used to be. And this last book I wrote, Your Will Be Done, is a book predominantly about like harmonizing. You use the word harmonizing. I think that this whole thing with God, right? It's like your will be done. We're wired differently. We are misfits. We look at God, we look at Jesus differently, we look at all these things differently, and it makes us wired differently because we are aspiring to a higher power, right? And so I want you to understand that one of the things that we do in a spiritual sense for being wired differently and connecting that way, we also need to understand, Barry, that we are wired differently from a neurological situation too. Like, so I want you to understand that God wants us to harmonize. You used that word earlier. I loved it. He wants us in sync. He wants our will and his will to triangulate. And that's what we're trying to do, and trying to get people to understand from a personal growth, a spiritual growth, and a profitable growth, man. I'm a functional coach. I'm not a functional doctor. You know what a functional doctor is, Barry?
What is a functional doctor?
I wish it was a joke, but it's not a functional doctor. Because a functional doctor is this dude that, like, he says, okay, what's your problem? And you say, well, my stomach hurts right here. He doesn't look just at the stomach. He says, well, let me look at your elbow. Let me look at your finger. Let me look at your toe. Let me look at your brain. Let me look in your ears. Let me hear your heart. Let me hear how you breathe. He's a functional doctor is a holistic mindset doctor that says, listen, the body's all together. And so I can't just treat your pancreas. I need to look at it all. And so if I'm going to coach you to be profitable, and you want to use me and my services, and I want to coach you, I want to be your friend, I want to I want to make you millions. But listen, I got to look at you personally. I got to look at you spiritually. And then I can build you profitably. I'm a functional coach. I want to build you in all those areas, because I can teach you how to make $1 million, not a problem. But I can't help you keep it if you're a butthead, right? We got to work on the whole being, right? And so that's the Wired Differently coaching traits and mentality. And that's this third book, Wired Differently, Your Will Be Done, that you've got. I think you got my first book, Wired Differently. You got my second book, Drift Again, which you know a lot about that. And third, my third book is Your Will Be Done. But that is Wired Differently, quickly in a nutshell, and how we look at that. And so I want to.
First of all, we love the word nut. You know why? Because NUT stands for never underestimate thanking. You see, part of the genius of Todd is that he is a thanker. He thanks the good Lord. He thanks for his family, his father, his wife, kids. He thanks for his ability to be of service in the world. And I love what you said about this functional coach, because I call this PMS. Don't talk when ladies hear this, they get a little wired, but I say PMS stands for you need to address the physical, the mental, and the spiritual aspect of life. Because when you do that, then you can live life to the full. Because life is a great acronym that stands for living inspirationally for eternity.
You do have a glossary of your acronymology, right? I mean, you are
absolutely. It's my second. I have 3 best-selling books out just this year, and the second one is called Pocket Full of Acronyms, which people know is available absolutely for no cost as an ebook on my website. But that's a side point. But
I want 20 of those.
Yes, well,
Abby,
wait a minute. Your will be done. Hello.
See, you get it. The preachers get all upset with me. They like I pissed off the preachers because they didn't like the title. And then I went to the motivational friends of mine and I peed them off because they thought that I was talking about God and that made them mad. So they didn't like it. Then the preachers didn't like it because I was talking about motivation and stealing God's word, your will be done. Well, I got news for you guys, bro. That's how it is. Read the Bible, read both Testament. It tells you, listen, your God says his will be done. And guess what his will is? Our free will. So let's put them together and make a sandwich and kick some, you know what?
And by the way, they're both 4-letter words, free and will. We love using 4-letter words.
4-letter words, change
the
world.
4-letter words, free, will, free.
And your buddy, Dennis Prager, and my friend, he helped out. He makes sure you tell him I said hello.
Oh, this is just too much fun. I'm digging it. And I said, I want to share with everybody, and then we're going to jump into a question because I really want you to speak more about the book. And one or two, either you can drop a name or an idea, but specifically in the book, I just want to share with everybody that one of the reasons I'm so humbled and honored that Todd is on the show today. And again, this is called the Joy of Living podcast. And joy is a great acronym, wonderful Todd, that stands for Journey of You.
Man.
Journey of you, because that's what this is all about. It's you becoming the best you possible. That's what you do as a functional coach. Your goal is to be a cog, a channel of goodness, a child of God. So let's jump and go deeper into Your Will Be Done book. And let's find a nugget or two that we can share with people that can say, wow. By the way, wow, of course, is words of wisdom. So let's have a wow from Your Will Be Done.
Sure. You want me to give you some words of wisdom from my book? Okay, a wow from my book. So one of the things we talked about today on the podcast was this idea of it's our culture, right? And our culture is one of those things that I think we all need to be aware of. And I have, we talked earlier, I have like 14 companies and I was speaking on pay, serve, right? So pay, serve. And I thought to myself, well, I could teach on the culture of pay, serve. I trademarked the words, it's our culture. So I own it's our culture. And so as I'm preaching.
Wait a minute. Can you imagine? I want everybody to hear this. So we have people listening from all over the world. One of the geniuses of Todd, and specifically about the United States of America, is that a human being can think like he just did, be a winner, which is action, and then go out and say, saying, hello, it's our culture. Well, you can't do that because I'm sure there's 13,000 people that own that. No, that's America. What you can do here can't be done anywhere else in the world. Thank you, wonderful Todd.
Well, we've done some pretty good things. We marketed Wired differently. We own that. We own the major registration on that. And then we have, obviously, it's the culture is one of the, so I have a glossary in my books as well, Barry. And so each book, the glossary, the words we have, add on every book. So in the beginning of the book, you'll see a glossary and it'll say, okay, what is this word? Inventory. What does that mean? Misfit. What does that mean? And then these words, so they're wired differently, glossary. And by the way, they wouldn't put me on TV when I first started doing this because they said, no one's going to understand what you're saying. It's too complicated. She said, so we got to put you on radio. And I said, well, why radio? She goes, well, because you can get in and out and you can talk a little longer and it'll give you more time to talk about all that stuff. I said, well, you just don't like the way I look. She goes, no. She says, no, you're just too complicated.
It's true. They didn't like the way you look, but that's what you look
like. I just kept writing and did my own thing. And that's what we do. I think authenticity is what makes you spectacular other than your handsomeness, but you are authentic. You are real. Spain just did a study, SPANE, on emotions and how they score, right? And they scored the emotion of authenticity 4,000 times higher than the emotion of love. Think about that for a moment. And I know we're getting off the track here, and I'll go back to
where we are on track because you're the track, baby.
Yeah. So here's what's going. Here's what happens is, so basically to break that down to somebody, they figured out, I haven't done the background and I Googled it. I did the test. I did all this, but here's what they're saying is that people are more attracted to someone who sings a song that they want to sing than the song that they sing that they think you want to sing, right?
Right.
Authenticity is the core to decision making in winning people's hearts, minds, and joy. You see, joy is not happiness. Happiness is a lot different than joy, Barry. Happiness is something, it's circumstantial. Man, you can go out and buy happiness any day you want. Go buy a car, go buy a Tom Donut, go buy something, buy a Snickers, buy a wife. I don't know what it happens, but it's only circumstantial, right? But joy, no. Joy, on the other hand, just happens. Joy comes out of us. We can't wake up and say, I'll take 2 joys, 1 happiness, and I'll take another joy. Only God can deliver joy. God is the only one who can really deliver joy. And so joy just happens. And so when I want to teach people on how to do life and do business, I want them to understand that you got circumstances, happiness, and joy just happens. Well, riches are the same thing as happiness, right? You can have riches, you can buy riches, you can have your paycheck, you got to pay your taxes, you can go buy things, utilities, you can buy cars, you can spend your riches, and that's circumstantial. But on the other hand, riches don't yield wealth. Wealth is akin to joy. Wealth, yeah, you got it. Wealth just happens, right?
Okay, one second. On that beautiful high note of wealth, we're going to take a pause here because we have sponsors that love us, and we urge you all. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they were worthy of you. Well, I urge you, use their services, their products, because they're good. We'll be right back after this brief message with amazing Todd, and we'll be talking about more wealth for you right after this. Don't go away. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, everybody. You know me, Barry Shore, and you know my story. Standing up in the morning, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, that night being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. Talk about a change of life. I was faced with lots of issues, difficulties, paths forward, if there was to be one. And I'm here to tell you that finding advice from professional people makes all the difference, certainly in my life. And I would urge everybody to consider doing so in your life. And if you've ever had the opportunity to find someone or some 2 people that are really matched up with you, then you know it makes a difference. I urge you to consider using BetterHelp. BetterHelp, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, so it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill in a brief questionnaire. I've done it to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. This is your opportunity to make a difference and become the best you possible. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/joy of living today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/joy of living. BetterHelp, HELP.com/joy of living. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Todd Saylor. He is the functional coach. He is wired differently. Oh, is he wired differently? He's here to be of service to the world. He's here to show you how to become happier, healthier, wealthier, and live in joy daily, no matter the circumstance. So we're talking about wealth. Okay, wonderful, Todd. What is it about, let's say you have 14 companies. People would say, well, he's rich. You're right, but he's also wealthy.
Yeah.
That's the key. So tell us about some of these companies and what it is that inspired you to start them, continue them, and allow them to go and help other people.
Yeah. So that's really great. I appreciate your lead in. And I got to tell you, like, this is like, I do podcasts. I have my own podcast, and most podcasts are like, running a race, and it's like a jog. This is like running a 100-yard dash. for 58 minutes. This is like the Olympics. This is what it is. This is the Olympics of podcasts. I'm not going to swim against you. I'll tell you that much right now. So here's where we are. We were kind of breaking down riches, happiness versus joy. In my book, Wired Differently, Your Will Be Done, I teach on the parallels of happiness and joy, and then riches and wealth. Most people can understand, right, Barry, that, happiness is circumstantial and you can buy happiness, right? So happiness is circumstantial, right? But riches, on the other hand, are circumstantial also, and those riches kind of buy happiness, but riches is akin to happiness because it comes and goes. It's in a paycheck. It's the way it comes and goes, and this and that. But you need to take those riches because I want riches to be akin to joy. So because joy just happens, I want you to understand wealth just happens. So if you can understand how God blesses us with joy and it just happens because of the beliefs, the structures, and the things that we pray and give back to other people, joy just happens to us. So I want you to understand when we start talking about riches, if you put those riches in the right places, just like happiness and those things, it will turn into joy or wealth. And so wealth is this idea of making investments so that they work without you.
Ooh, I want everybody hears the words, but I want them to penetrate into your very being. Wealth is when things work for your benefit without you. In other words, your ego gets removed, which is a great thing, right? You know what ego is a great word. I learned this from a man who had to go through Alcoholics Anonymous to teach me this. He lost everything and then he gained it back. Yeah. Ego stands for edging God out.
Ooh.
That's ego. Now, when you get your ego away from, you can have wealth because all you're concerned with is serving. By the way, I'm going to tell everybody right now, if you're watching this, I want you to watch Todd's face light up when I say this. And if you're just listening, you take my word for it. Todd, you're an SOB.
Oh,
you're an SOB. You know why?
An SOB, yes.
SOB stands for source of blessing.
I knew
you're an SOB.
I was told it was good because I know what FU stands for. SOB's got to be right in that same hemisphere. Great job. Great job.
Source of blessing. That's who you are. So
are you.
Thank you.
Here's the thing. Let me just kind of close out that nugget I wanted to give you there. I mean, a lot of people understand, I think, between riches and wealth, but a lot of people don't really understand the difference. And I think this is a reverse teaching here. I think my business students want to understand riches and wealth, and I will coach them. They need both, right? But happiness and joy, I think from a personal, so you can see how when I coach and I teach, so I take everything I'm talking about and I take it to the 3 levels. So every podcast I do, everything I write, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to teach on it, it's going to hit you personally, it's going to hit you spiritually, and it's going to hit you in the pocketbook. It's going to hit you profitably. Because I think all these things, I mean, God didn't wake up and say, hey, man, I want you poor.
He don't want poor. He want rich. He want wealthy.
He literally, he wants us to kick ass, take names, but he wants to do it in his culture. He wants us to do it through pay is what we do for people in one of my biggest companies called Pay Serve, and serve is how Christ led the church. Serve first, right? And so if we can take that leadership model, put it together, right? I mean, it's true. He walked on the earth. He served people. He put people first, right? And so why can't we? That this is our culture. And so when I teach people riches and wealth, right, and I teach people happiness and joy, I want them to understand that joy comes from God. It just happens. You can't make or buy joy. And I want you to understand, if you understand that, then I can teach you how to make wealth. And one of the best ways to make wealth, and I'm going to spin this off because now you got personal growth, you got spiritual growth. And let me tell you the profitable growth. Here's how you make wealth in a fast way. You don't do transactional incomes as a business structure. You become a SaaS, or you become a reoccurring revenue generating machine, right? And that's how I teach people. I teach them how to monetize their transactional work base and turn it into a reoccurring revenue machine. And then we invest and we move forward, and then we multiply by adding more entities. There you go.
Woo! Okay. One of the reasons, yeah. So this is absolutely phantasmagorically wonderful.
Good word.
One of the reasons why people, thank God, are coming to the podcast in increasing numbers. Now we're over 300. Right now, there's 372,000 plus people listening. And we urge everybody, share this with 5 people. You want to do 50, 100, that's up to you. At least 5. Everybody do 5 because we touch 1.5 million people. Then that's really what we want to. That means you really care. Everything you want to know about what Todd is sharing and offering, just go to my website, barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE.com. That's our song for you. Everything about Todd will be there. His books, his courses. He's making a movie. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. This is a never-ending machine of goodness. I want to share with you something. You mentioned about your father, and may he continue to live to the age of 120 in good health and mindset. I want to tell you something my father taught me when I was 9 years old. He's been gone now for a number of years. But when I was 9, I won't go into all the circumstances, but suffice it to say, I grew up in a place called Boston, Massachusetts, where we had snowstorms at least 2 or 3 times a year, call off school, and instead of going back under the covers or go play games, I got bundled up with gloves and ear muffs and stuff. I went out with a shovel and I shoveled snow to make money, because otherwise I only get 25 cents an allowance, and I wanted to make money. And I could make $65, $70 as a 9-year-old shoveling snow. It took me 8, 9 hours. I was exhausted. Okay. But the point is, I learned a lot of business lessons, but the greatest lesson was my father taught me. When I came back, end of a long day, he said to me, Barry, how do you spell business? I said, Dad, business. He said, that's right. Notice something about the word business. You're going to love this, Todd. The U comes before the I. When you are out there giving value, you're here to serve, and people know that, and you've given a lot to other people, guess what? The I has to be taken care of. It's a law of the universe. Now, I was 9 years old. Did I understand what my father was telling me? No. Did it take me at least another decade or more to internalize, utilize, and leverage? Yes. I think it dovetails exactly what you're talking about rich and wealth and understanding that multiplication, that exponential ability to understand it's service first. Everything else comes as a result. Am I correct on that, wonderful Todd?
Absolutely. I mean,
Not me, it's my father.
Yeah. I mean, if you can do or give enough to other people what they want and help them get what they need, then it comes to you. You'll then get what you need. You'll then get it. God talks about it as an undescribable gift. I think in I'm going to say Second Chronicles, but undescribable gift. And what he's saying in that passage is that, man, if you're praying for other people and you're giving and you're serving for them, he's going to bless us with what's called an undescribable gift, meaning that it comes back way around, because that's how he built the system, right? And so I think we just lose sight of those things. We don't go to school. No one teaches this stuff, Barry. No, there's
well, the good news is, Todd, the better news is, you're right. They're not teaching it. They're leaving a void, but you are. I am. By the way, may I share with you a great acronym for gift?
Yes.
Godly.
I need those books, Abby. Make sure we don't.
Okay, 1 second. Godly inspiration facilitating transformation.
I see how you did the I and the S there.
Godly inspiration facilitating transformation. That's a gift.
That's good.
I give it to you willingly.
That is good, man. I don't know how you remember them all.
Okay, so here let's talk about interesting words and such. You got me in this one, kid. The Tiki Hut Retreat. I mean, come on. If it wasn't you, and I was thinking about the Tiki Hut Retreat, I said, what is he talking about? Okay, but it's you, so it has to be real. I want to know more about it, and so does everybody else. What the heck is the Tiki Hut Retreat? Tiki, not the TikTok retreat, the Tiki Hut Retreat.
Yeah, I think it's funny you say that, because I never thought about it. Like, you think it's a dating game or something. I suppose you could probably go there, but no, it's the Tiki Hut Retreat. It's the vacation that pays for itself. We got people come from all over the country, and we have it here at Longboat Key Island, and it's a resort called the Zoda Resort, and there's a big tiki hut out there. And so we call it the Tiki Hut Retreat. But more importantly, before I actually did these at the Tiki Hut area on Longboat Key in this boutique, it's beautiful resort, right? I have 2 massive tiki huts on my acre here on the ocean. And so like I'll do coaching and I'll bring people over here. And so really the core of the Tiki Hut Retreat is one night out of the 3 nights, they come here to my house and we go out in my express yacht and we have a great time. They meet my wife, they meet my family. And, I think one of the things that, it's really missing in this, I don't know. I'm just going to say it because I believe in you. You don't know what's real out there anymore. You don't know like who's a coach, who's not a coach. And I resent a lot of those people out there pretending to be something they aren't. And I told myself I wouldn't be this guy, right? I love being an entrepreneur. I just got kind of like, I can do it better. I can really do it. I can really change people's life. I can really do it in a message, a Christian way. I can do it in a service way. And so by bringing people to my house, I think the intimacy of the truth, right? If you meet my children, you'll be blown away. If you meet my wife, you'll say, what in the world? How did that ever happen? Right? You're like going to say, what? You've been married almost 40 years? That's impossible. Right? I don't even look 40, right? Come on.
Right.
You're supposed to say, why you're not, you didn't get Abby
You
didn't
know,
say,
you're right. Wait a minute. You took your wife out of the cradle. Hello, it's 3 years old. Ah.
yeah, she's amazing. And she don't tell her, but she's 2 days older than me. But anyways, I'm not supposed to.
Oh,
but
so
anyway,
you did marry an older woman. Okay, fine.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I'm smart. So I fell in love with her when I was 15. And she fell in love with me when she was 19. That was some work. I have a great story about Get the Girl. And I was going to go play college. I played college football at a pretty good level. I was an All-American. And in the school I went to was Division III. But I ended up I was going to go to one school. And then I found out that she was going to go to another school that was looking at me. And so I'm like, So I called that school back. I said, man, is there anything you can do to help me out to get me there? Because I'm thinking this. And they go, yeah, we'll give you this, this, and this. And I said, okay. So I went to the school where she was going. And I just remember this day, like, because I've been in love with her, like literally since I met her as a sophomore in a track meet in another school. And I know God was there. And I wasn't an overly Christian, spiritual dude, but right? And so I remember getting there my freshman year and there was a school dance and the dance was going on. She got there. I was already there a month earlier and I went to this dance because I had to have a date or something for this dance. And we were outside and I was walking across the parking lot and I almost forgot that she was coming. And there she was, Barry, walking across this parking lot. And I'm like, I've got another girl with me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but this one could type. So I needed to make sure I had one that could type because I couldn't type. But anyways, at the end of the day, you're supposed to laugh at that. But so anyways, I see her there. Her name's Tracy.
Wait a minute. I'm laughing. I'm like,
Tracy, and what I'm going to do. And so I'm like, oh man, I don't even know if she's going to remember me. If she's going to know who I am. Blah, blah, blah. And here she comes walking right at me, Barry. I'm like, oh, I'm locking eyes and she's not really paying attention. So I take a right-hand turn. I take this girl. I don't know what her name is. And we're walking right at her. And as I go get up so close, so I get real close to her and she's right there. And I'm like almost brush shoulders with her. And I just say, hi, Tracy. And I keep walking and I'm like, my breath is holding. And all of a sudden I hear behind my head, I hear, hi, Todd. Right. So I take this girl back to her room and I said, listen, I'm not feeling well. I got to go home. So I go back to my room. It's in my room. And I said, Bobby, I saw her. She was there. He goes, who's there? The girl I'm going to marry someday. He says, whoa. I said, Tracy. He says, whoa, I thought you wanted another girl. I said, no, it's Tracy. He says, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to call her. So I go all the way down to the payphone. I pick up the phone. I say, pick up the payphone. And sure enough, she picks up the phone and she says, hello. And I said, Tracy, this is Todd. I'm glad you're home. She goes, yeah, it was a short night. I said, hey, I just saw you. She goes, yeah, I saw you. I said, hey, why don't we go out and see a movie on Saturday? I'd just love to get to know you a little bit. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. I have a date at 8. I said, oh, I should understand that. Anyways. I'll see you at 8. I hung up the phone. And I go all back to my room. I say, Bobby, I called her. I asked her out a date at 8. He says, what'd she say? And she said, no. And I said, what'd I do? I said I'd be there at 8. Ring. So I go all the way back down the phone. And she's on the phone. I said, hello. And she says, Todd, this is Tracy. I said, Tracy, this is Todd. She says, Todd, did you not understand what I said? I said, I have a date at 8. And I said, oh, yeah. I just got carried away. I'm sorry. I'll see you at 8. I hang up the phone again. I run all the way back to Bobby. Bobby said, what's going on? I said, Bobby. I asked her out again. She said no again. He goes, what are you doing? You're crazy. Ring, 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 ring. I go all the way back. I pick up the phone. I said, hello. And she says, Todd, this is Tracy. I said, I know, Tracy. I said, I just sorry, but I get carried away sometimes. And I really, really like it. And she goes, I just wanted to tell you, I broke my date. I'll see you at 8.
Oh, wait a minute, Todd. These are tears of joy. Wait a minute.
And we're together for 40 years, 3 kids, 4 grandkids, and we've built a kingdom. And and it's like, it's joy. You can't. Why I set you up with riches and wealth and joy and happiness is because that story is a perfect example of that phone call yielded joy 4, 5, 6, 40 years down the road, right? I can't make that. There's no sauce. There's no cocktail. There's no infusion.
But wait a minute. But it is authenticity. Authenticity. Now, I will tell you a great acronym for the word truth, because that's what you just touched. You touched truth. Ready? Total reliance upon the highest.
There you go. Yeah.
You're totally reliant. You said, I was not even a devout Christian. It doesn't matter. You were a believer in the wave of goodness. Yeah. That nothing could come between you because it was real. Love stands for living on vibrant energy. Living on the vibrational plane. That's what you were doing. Right. You were flying on the vibrational plane. Married 40 years later, 3 kids, 4 grandchildren. But those are just the data points. The riches and the wealth that were created from you saying, I'll see you at 8. And just, you understood the power of continuing to go forth in joy, happiness, peace, and love. We're going to do a short break here. Again, we love our sponsors. They love us. We urge you to patronize and be patronizing in the good way. We'll be right back. This week's message is more Todd on the other side of this, and I'm just crying tears of joy. Thank you. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Good day, everybody. Oh, something special for you. Amazing. Sometimes a great notion comes into the world and causes a shift that benefits everyone. Isn't that wonderful? Everyone benefits. This time it's called Einstein Cares. That's right, like Albert Einstein. EinsteinCares.com. EinsteinCares. EinsteinCares.com. Go there and sign up to be aware of when the site launches, because guess what this site is all about? Its mission is to give $1 billion to charity without costing any giver a penny. Okay, I'm going to say it again. The mission is to give $1 billion to charity without costing any giver a penny. And it's based upon something everybody loves to do. Shop, have fun, give money at no cost. Go to EinsteinCares.com. That's EinsteinCares.com and register now so that when the site launches, you will be amongst the first to know about it. So you can shop, earn money, and give money at no cost. What a wonderful world to even be thinking about these things. EinsteinCares.com. Do it today. You'll thank me, and you know you love thanking me. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day. Beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking. You're always looking for and finding the good. Have we found good? Are you not experiencing uplift, inspiration? Are you ready for a tiki hut? I think so. And you're going to hear about a movie. I mean, Todd doesn't just write books and do tiki hut retreats and share with people. By the way, share is a great acronym that stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy. That's what sharing does. He shares. Tell us about the movie that you're making, Todd.
this has been. Let me just slow down here for a second. I need to tell you what a blessing you are, not only to me in 40 or 50 minutes that we have together, but like to a lot of people. And I want you to understand that I'm going to be praying for you tonight. At 10 o'clock my time, I will be on my knees and I will be praying for you. And I don't know why.
Thank you,
So
Todd.
that's what's going to happen at 10 o'clock Eastern.
Yep.
Just so you know which time zone. If something happens, you got to know what time zone it is.
This is not a podcast.
I don't want anybody else to get credit for, So let's talk. So we started the show up about my dad, and so he's like, he's the biggest inspiration in my life. I've looked up to him my whole life, and he was just epic. He taught me this whole idea without teaching me that we shape and we create our will. And he was just always this guy that if he said he was going to do it, it happened. And so when you grow up in an environment like that, and you grow up around coaches and people like that, and you watch them say, hey, I'm going to shoot par on this golf course, and I'm going to take the ball up around, bend it, and I'm going to putt it from 10 feet away. And he does it every time. I'm like, that his will be done, right? And you grow up with him. He says, well, we're going to go buy this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to build this house. And it's like his will be done, and so I watched that my whole life. And he didn't make a lot of money. He was just a great coach. He's a great school teacher. He's a businessman, but he was a better teacher and he was a better coach. And so I don't mean that in any disrespect. It's just that that's just the way it was. He grew up, born in 1942, and can you imagine? 1942. I remember growing up, and people would, if they wanted to make you mad at them, they'd call you conceited. You're conceited.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. And now we're on Facebook and we're like doing our own commercials and all that kind of stuff. So like he just doesn't get the whole promotion thing. He doesn't get how we created the donut capital of the world. By the way, if you Google the donut capital of the world, you'll see Tom's Donuts, which is my donut shop, and we are the donut capital of the world. We have the world record. The most donuts made and sold in 8 hours the world has ever seen. Tom's Donuts, the donut capital of the world. 8,558 donuts made and sold in 8 hours. People came from all over the country to eat our donuts. They waited in lines all day, all night. It's amazing. Anyways, that's a side note. But my father taught me how to make a donut when I was 8 years old. My trade is a donut maker.
Wait a minute, with or without the hole?
I can do it all, baby.
So here's the good news about a donut. A donut is the ultimate of a holy food.
Absolutely. I got a holy food. That's the holy donut. Right. And so he taught me how to make donuts.
Wow.
He taught me how to play football in, this world. And so it turns out, I'll just give you the short on the movie here, because it all kind of comes together in the book, Your Will Be Done. A lot of these stories are in there, and you're just going to love, and you're going to learn how to triangulate your will and God's will to work for you and for him in your life here on earth while we're here. So here's the thing. In 1968, to 1976, my dad was a high school football coach in a little town by the name of Hudson, Michigan. And in this town,
little town meaning population 17,000?
Less.
Wow.
Probably somewhere around there, 10,000, something like that. Maybe, I think it was less. Matter of fact, I think it was 5,000 or less, because we had 4,000 at a football game, and I knew it was greater than the population of the city. But here's the deal. This football team from 1968 to 1976 never lost a game, Barry. Set the national world win streak record, never lost a damn game. And so here's the thing. I'm a little boy watching my dad coach all these football teams. And this is before you could recruit or have parochial schools and all that kind of stuff. And he was just making it with what he had. 9-0, 9-0, 9-0, 9-0, 9-0, 9-0, 9-0, 9-0. And people didn't realize this. He was coaching golf at the same time. And they never lost a golf match in like 12 seasons, 11 LCA. It's just bizarre. The man was a freaking winner, man. It will be done. And when you get ingrained and you get put in that position and you're forced to watch him eat food, get up, drive a car, and tell people what to do, and stuff happens, you can't be any different than wired differently. I'm sorry, I'm carried away. So here's the movie. When I was 12, the movie crew started. Yeah, so at the end of the streak in 1975, we had to go undefeated to break the national win streak record. Well, lo and behold, the movie crew comes from New York. Steve Gebhardt. Steve Gebhardt was the videographer, the Rolling Stones, was the videographer, Yoko and John Lennon, and all of that. He was accomplished. This is before interweb, any of that stuff, right? And so they come, they live with us for, I don't know, 18 weeks, and they film everything. They film our life. They're in it, and it all in the hopes. Like this before ESPN, bro. I mean, this is like old school. If we win every game, we break the record. If we don't win every game, we don't break the record. And all the video is worthless. Long story short, we go all the way to the very end. We make it to the final game. We have to beat Kalamazoo Hackett to break the world record. 72. We were at 71. And it's the semifinals of the state playoff. And these kids break the record. They break the record. The next game, I know it's a beautiful story. The next game they lose. Some kids got in trouble, smoked dope, did some this or that. My dad did the right thing. He didn't let them play. They ended up losing. But he basically called it the beautiful loser by Bob Seger. And he said, listen, the same team that broke it, lost it. You know, he's got 12. But here's the no-look pass on this whole thing, Barry, and I'm going to make it short and happy to you. Is that you got to understand, from 1968, he started building these kids in 1966, 1965. I was born in 65, so 66. He started coaching them in the 1968. You got to understand the time, late 60s, early 70s. What's going on?
Chaos.
Vietnam.
Right.
So here's the story I'm going to leave you with. I'm 12 years old, and this is why I'm wired differently. I would leave the elementary school every day, and I'd go over there to help my dad with the football team, and I would just hand out salt tablets. I would help out with water. I would do whatever just to be near my dad. And this one particular day was cloudy, it was gray, it was sky, and I went out there, and I was a little behind, and they were already out in the field, and I remember looking over the field, and I'm like, wow. They're all out there. They're already practicing, but they don't have helmets on. They don't have pads on. There's no footballs. And I'm like, Dad, what's going on? So I go down there and I start to watch, and I realize they're broken up into 3 sections. One section here, one section here, one section here. This section over here was crawling under the agility ropes like army crawl, right? And then this section over here was running and jumping in mud and spinning and doing what were called barrel rolls, monkey drills. And then the third drill, what I want you to understand is I was looking over here, and this is the most important thing I got to tell you, Barry, is that as I looked over there in that third quadrant, there's about 20 men, and 10 of them were carrying 10 on their shoulders, and they were trying to go across the span of the field. And I watched them very closely as I had noise over here, and I looked at them going across the field. I said to myself, what is going on here? Everybody was screaming, you can do it, you can do it. And one particular athlete fell 5 yards in front of the line to finish. Everyone else did, and he fell down, and the man fell off his shoulder, and everybody started yelling, get up. Get up. You'll die if you don't get up. And then other players came out, get up. They're screaming, get up. My father's over there, get up. They're screaming, no one's going to save you. No one's going to help you. And these players are panicked. I mean, it's real. This is visceral. And I'm 12, and I'm like, what is going on? And they're screaming, and they're panicked, and in a horror. And all of a sudden, this little man picked up another big man, and he put him over his shoulder, and he stumbled 5 more yards, fell across the living line. And as it did, everybody celebrated conversion in the center. And like, he lived. And I'm like, God, what is going on? This isn't. My dad saw me a little perplexed, and he walked over at me, and he was damn near wiping his eyes. And he said, son, what's wrong? I said, Dad, I thought you were a football coach. And he said, son, I'm not a football coach. I said, Dad, what is all this going on? I thought you were a football coach. He said, son, listen. At the end of high school, these men are not going to go to the factories and work. at the end of the season and they're done with high school, they're not going to go work on the farms with their family. Matter of fact, son, these men aren't more than likely aren't even going to go to college. I said, Dad, what are you talking about? He says, son, I'm not a football coach. And these men are going to Vietnam. I'm not a football coach. I'm a builder of men. And so when you look at something like that in retrospect and you think about the no look, the idea that a man would give of himself more than of this record, this thing that no one has ever done, broke all this school and all the pressure and all this, and he sacrifices the game itself to make sure that really the idea of what he's doing is building men. He's not building football players, because he knows that at the end of this season, most of them are going to war, and many are probably going to not make it. And I can't be anybody else than where I've been made. And I think some of us have to understand that we have callings and we don't understand what has happened, what has been put into us, what has been supercharged into us, what we don't look deep enough. We don't understand that we are builders at heart. And that's what my father's given me. And that's the genesis of Wired Differently. And I'm creating a movie titled The Tiger in Us. If you go to thetigerinus.com, you can see the trailer. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I spoke at the Super Bowl last February, and I'll be back there this February to teach and speak in regards to the NFL players and the retired alumni and the people out there. And we've got a lot of good things going in that regard. So I'm excited. I didn't want to bring you down, Barry, but it's just a beautiful story.
Down? How about up? Up stands for unlimited possibilities. Unlimited power.
Yeah.
Todd, I'm only sorry to have to say these words, but our time at this juncture is coming to a close. So I have 3 quick questions for you, my dear beloved friend. 3 questions. Ready?
Yep.
First one, will you come back again?
Absolutely.
Number 2, you have only 80 seconds to answer this question, Todd. What is your most fervent desire?
You said 80 seconds for a reason.
80 seconds. That's it.
Most fervent desire to win people. To win people. That's, I don't know, it's came to my head.
That was wonderful. What is your father's first name?
Tom.
Woo! Triple T. Tom, Todd, Tracy.
Thomas.
What was your mother's name?
Madeline.
Madeline?
Madeline.
Beautiful. Thank you to Tom and Madeline for making Todd and Tracy and the kids and the grandkids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and the third thing, may I give you a hug in front of 400, God willing, it will be soon, 376,822 people around the world. Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Ready?
Yep. Heartfelt,
unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3. You're listening to The Joy of Living with your home host, Barry Shore, and our amazing guest, wonderful Todd Saylor, Saylor. Everything you want to know about Todd and the movie and everything else, go to barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE.com, because on this show, as you know, it's all not even about Todd. It's not even about Barry. It's about you becoming the best you, just like his father, Tom. Building of men, building of people. That's what we do with this podcast. It's about you becoming the best you possible. And you know, we work with the 3 fundamentals of life. Number 1, your life has purpose. Number 2, you lead a purpose-driven life. You go mad. Mad stands for make a difference in the world. And number 3 is to unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms so you can be happier, healthier, and wealthier, such as WWW, what a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. As my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in. It's envision it, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. And then you'll be able to have a little shift in perspective. You got to keep that F in place or the other stuff happens. And use the 6 most important words you got to internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life. And they are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation makes a difference in your pathway and your trajectory. Use 4-letter words. But of course, we live in the world of positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. So these 4-letter words are love, life, hope, free, will, play, pray, swim, and tell the world to F you, capital N, capital N. After the show, point your finger, have a smile on your face, twinkle in your eye, tell your family and friends, F you, everybody, at capital N, capital N. Where'd you get that? I listened to Barry Shore, The Joy of Living, and it will be able to recall all this and share this with 5 people. That's it. 5 people will touch 1.5 million people around the planet. Utilize the 2 most powerful words in English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously every single day, and you'll be happier, healthier, wealthier. And they are, thank you, thank you, thank you, to harmonize and network kindness, just like Todd. Be kind. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always. Keep inspiring noble deeds. And we have a blessing from Todd and Barry, and that is, go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Todd, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.